Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pairfect, Daily Tribune's digital show that takes you up close and personal with trailblazers and winners in their field. I'm Dinah Ventura, and joining me today is celebrated interior designer JJ Acuña.
Hello, hi.
Welcome to
Happy
Pairfect!
happy to be here. Happy to be with
Hey!
you, Dina, and happy to be in Perfect.
Yes,
Perfect.
yes. So you were based in Hong Kong, and
Yes.
you're back in the Philippines.
Yes, I moved to Hong Kong in 2005, and because I was doing my undergrad in architecture in upstate New York at Cornell, and then I did my grad school program at Columbia, New York City. And back then, China was just opening up to the world. They had the Olympics, diba,
Yes,
in '08,
Beijing.
something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
And I said, oh my God, all the great designs are happening there. And at that time in the US, parang it was post 9/11. So everybody was more focused on stabilizing, and they had the Iraq War. I said, it's now or never to really experience China.
Okay.
And then so I went there in '05. But I didn't go into China, I went to Hong
Hong
Kong.
Kong, which is different.
Which is very different. Yeah, because I said, okay, sige, maybe I will transition into China if
Okay.
I'm more brave.
Uh-huh.
But let me try Hong Kong first. It's a decompression point.
Okay.
So yeah, I've
So,
been
so
there ever
you went
since.
there. What happened? What did you do?
Oh my gosh, Hong Kong in '05 is just so vibrant, so many things happening. Like they were really benefiting from an opening up of China and everything. And so, banking industry, architecture, art design, it was all happening there. And there's parties everywhere. It was really, really
Very
vibrant,
eventful place.
eventful place. So I practiced as an architect for 10 years
Yeah, you
in
put up your own business there, or did you join another company
Yeah,
first?
so I joined another company for a while because I was interning and stuff like that.
Okay.
I was learning. I was building at a young age, in my mid to late 20s, early 30s, I was building towers in China.
Wow.
I have a shopping mall I designed and built there. I have, sales offices, sales galleries, apartments, master plans that I've designed
Beautiful.
in the corporate environment, and it's all over China.
Nice.
And then in 2015, I decided to quit all of that and just start my own little studio
In
in
Hong
Hong Kong.
Kong.
In Hong Kong.
Okay. So, what was that like, being on your own, going solo?
Yeah, I don't know if people understand that in architecture, you have this image that you're like, oh, Frank Lloyd Wright, it's just a man in a table drawing like a monk, right? But in real life, when you're building things in the corporate world, you've got your bosses, how they think. I mean, there's how you think, but then you have your bosses. And then there's a chairman of the development company, and then the operations team, and then the marketing team.
So,
There's so many, and then the engineers, and
okay.
then government officials.
Layers and layers.
Layers, layers.
Yeah.
So basically, after 10 years of doing that, I got disillusioned with the process. Parang what you have, what you want to design, what you have in the mind that's good for the project, parang nawala na over time. So I remember sitting at a dinner with friends who are artists, creatives, and I was like, everybody was talking about the work. Everybody was talking about their paintings, their chairs that they've designed, and all of this stuff. And then when it came to me, they're like, JJ, show us what you've been doing. And honestly, I realized that I was doing all of this work in the corporate world, and there was nothing that I built that's standing in China that I wanted to show.
I see. Wow.
Yeah, so I said,
Turning point.
yeah, a turning point. Then suddenly I went to the banyo, I looked in the mirror, and I'm
Uh-huh.
like, oh my gosh, you're 35. What are you doing with yourself?
Okay.
You should really make a difference. You should make, at least, if not for anyone else or the world, for yourself.
Is that why you decided to move
And that's
back
why I
to Manila?
decided to quit architecture and then start my own little design studio. And I'm also a foodie, and I also have good relationships with chefs and stuff. So I was decided to, I don't want to design anymore for second or third tier or first tier cities in China. I don't even know how people interact with my spaces. So I'm just going to design a little restaurant for a friend, a little cafe for a business owner. And I get to actually sit there and enjoy being in that space with people of all ages. Then I realized, oh, design is a personal thing that affects people on a personal level. So that's what our studio, JJ Acuña Bespoke Studio, founded in Hong Kong, is all about.
Okay.
Yeah. But in terms of Manila, well, that only happened recently in 2022 when Hong Kong was in lockdown. And I miss my mom who lives here and my family and friends who are here. And I said, you know what, I'll just hang out in the Philippines. But when I moved here just to hang out, I realized people here were open to what I was doing there. So
Yes.
that's how we founded our studio here as well.
So now you have two main offices
Yes, so now we have,
doing your design
yeah,
the
so
way you want it.
yes. So I remember a client here, we just finished a restaurant for him
Okay.
in BGC called Carlos.
Carlos. Okay.
Yeah, it's an Italian-American concept for that restaurateur. And I remembered in our first meeting over Negronis, he asked me like, JJ, can you do what you do in Hong Kong for us here? And I said, yeah, sure. I mean, can you do what we do in Hong Kong for the market in Manila? So I feel like they were able to really pull it. We were all able to really pull it off together.
What makes that design distinct or different from, or something new for the market?
I think, well, we really okay. So designing restaurants and cafes and bars in Hong Kong is, I'm a hospitality and lifestyle designer now. I mean, because I was working with chefs before, and that's how everything got started. We really, in Hong Kong, it's very what do you call that? Very competitive in the F&B scene. So you have to have like the best chairs, the best tables. Tables shouldn't be wobbly. The best lighting. Everything needs to be perfection.
Every detail.
Every detail. The fabric, the circulation, how you are greeted when you enter the restaurant, who takes you to your table, and the circulation with all of this stuff. And so the best I can respond to that is our method of delivering designing a project and delivering a project from A to Z in Hong Kong, doing it that way, because it's a very tough environment to design. And it's also tough to get permits to operate a restaurant.
Okay.
We brought that standard.
Here.
The standard that we do our work, we brought it here.
Okay.
And I will say that when you walk into Carlos and BGC, it really is like, yeah, it's very interesting to have something like that in a casual restaurant, but designed as if it was a hotel restaurant.
Wow.
It's hospitality, capital H, and lifestyle, capital L, I guess.
Setting new standards in the Manila Sea.
Well, it's
Right.
our standards that we learned by working in Hong Kong. And we've designed everywhere: Bangkok, Myanmar, Vietnam. We have restaurants in Tokyo, so we bring that standard to wherever we design. And now we brought it here, and we're very happy that this client is able to execute it. He loved it. He loves it. He really believes in his vision and the vision that we offered for him. And yeah, it's all working out pretty well.
Good, good, good.
Yeah.
So, but JJ, let's backtrack. Let's go back to when you were just starting out. I mean,
Yeah.
how did you get into interior design in the first place?
Yeah.
Was that always like a dream for you when you were younger?
So basically, I mean, I was the fourth of 5 kids, and I realized that the art studio at school was where I could run away from, like, as a kid, there's bullying, and then there's like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or I realized that when I was in the art studio, I could actually be the most myself. And also, as the fourth out of five kids, you always want to be recognized. You always want, hello, mom, dad,
I'm
here I
here.
am, I'm here. And, and then you're always fighting with your siblings and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And when I, you know, draw with charcoal and when I paint with watercolor and
Mm-hmm.
oil, I realized I could really express the most myself. And I don't have to prove myself to anyone. I don't need anyone to recognize me but me. So I said, okay, there's something here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also love dressing up,
Mm-hmm.
fashion, and all of that
Yes, I can see
stuff.
that.
So I'm like, Mom, I want to be a fashion designer. If not a fashion
Oh,
designer, I want to be a painter, like oil
oh,
painter.
oh, and then
She said no, because
what did?
Asian mom
Yes, you have to be a doctor. What did
or
she say?
something. But thank God that I'm fourth because the older one, like the third is a doctor, the
Mm-hmm.
second is an engineer who became a doctor, and the first is a lawyer. So like parang that's out of the system.
Uh,
So my mom was probably
pagdating
thinking,
sa'yo.
what is a respectable profession that is not a fashion designer or a painter that I could like tell my friends like is
Mm-hmm.
respectable? Okay, architecture.
Okay.
So ganyan, and then so I got in. Like parang there was resistance on my part, but I
Mm-hmm.
said, sure, I'll do this architecture for mom, and then
Mm-hmm.
if I'm older and I don't like it, I'll do what I
You
wanted to do.
studied abroad right away, or did you
I oh y-
take it up here first in the
I grew up.
Philippines?
So we immigrated to Texas, and I
Mm.
grew up in Dallas Fort Worth.
All right.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
studied high school there, and
Okay.
then I went. Yeah, so always
Okay.
in the U.S.
Always in the U.S.
And yeah, and then I did that, and it turns out I was quite good at it.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, I will do architecture. And then I feel like in architecture, and I did it for 10 years,
Mm.
it's always like very conservative, like beige stone, black metal work,
Uh-huh.
glass. And there's this fashion side of me who loves
Just
color
burst.
pattern.
Yeah.
That's why I love your dress
Oh, really?
because it's like all colors and pattern.
Yeah,
It's like,
bursting.
florals. And
Yeah.
that's who I am.
Okay.
So when I discovered restaurant design, like it was a thing, just
Mm.
focusing on restaurants,
Mm.
I was like, oh my gosh, with restaurants we could do concepts, and this restaurant could be a different
Yeah.
fantasy, which then could be clad in fabrics I love, stone I love, and
Right, right.
everything. And then I think that's how I transitioned out of architecture and into
Into
hospitality
hospitality.
design, basically.
How many restaurants have you worked on, and how many of those do you really love?
Okay. Some people have 5 kids.
Mm-hmm.
And when they say they love all 5 kids, do they really love it all the same? Um, I mean, I will just say that sometimes it's the alchemy is real, like with
Mm.
a client
That's it.
and the budget and the timeline and the
Mm.
situation and everything is perfect.
Mm.
And then they make food that is amazing and perfect. I feel like we were able to do that with Carlos this
Okay.
time around, and I would say that's my favorite child so far.
So far, yes.
Um, but I mean, as I was saying earlier, like
Mm.
uh, not everything that we do is built exactly how you want it,
Mm.
or you built exactly how you want it, but the food is a bit off.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, you know,
There's a disconnect.
there's a disconnect. Or sometimes you go to a place and
Mm.
then the architecture and the interior overpowers the food.
Oh, yeah.
Or sometimes the food is so good that everything is like a concrete wall around it.
I see.
So it really depends.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you've been talking about your designing all these projects, but give us an idea of like what is your design philosophy
Philosophy.
if you were to describe it yourself?
That's a really good question because unlike other designers, we are concept based, meaning
Mm.
we design, and our company, our studio name is JJ Acuña Bespoke Studio,
Mm.
and bespoke comes from the world of tailoring,
Yes.
menswear tailoring,
Custom.
custom. It's a fancy way of saying custom.
Yeah.
um, so when you see a guy wearing a smart suit,
Mm.
that it's like, oh, it's smart because it looks perfect for them.
Yes.
And then you see another guy wearing another smart suit, it's like, but then through the buttons, the detailing, the stitching, you know it's from this tailor. You know, like um, so I think with us, even though we have different designs for different concepts, through the detailing and through the lighting, through the atmosphere, the spirit of the place, you could tell that our studio did that because we care about certain things. But in terms of signature styles,
Yeah.
I tell people that born Filipino, born in the Philippines. So I love natural things. I love wood. I love rattan. I love, this table. Like, I try to inject a lot of natural materials in my project. I was raised in Texas, in the US, so I love American millwork. I do a lot of American edge detailing, crown millwork, wainscoting, all of these beadboarding, all of these like American architectural finishing. And
Interesting.
I did my professional career in Hong Kong. I learned how to be a professional in Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, it's about glitz, glamour, finishing,
Polish.
polish. So those three things alchemize into a very interest. All of our projects are affected by those three
That's
things.
your touch, the
That's the touch.
JJ Acuña
There's
bespoke
Yes,
touch.
there's naturals. There's always a polish, and there is always millwork detailing.
The detail. Very interesting. So we'll talk more about your work
Yes.
and your life
Yes.
when we return after a short break.
And this break is brought to you by Angkas, Beat the Traffic, Bayad Center, hashtag Bigger Better Younger Bayad, and you can buy it all. Globe, atin ang mundo. Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Smart, live more today. Union Bank, it starts with you.
Tune in to Daily Tribune's show aimed at addressing the needs and problems of our OFWs from different corners of the globe. Hear about their plights and success stories every Tuesday and Thursday, 3 p.m. only on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now on YouTube.
Straight Talk dives deep into present issues of leadership, politics, business, and more. Engage in insightful conversations with industry shakers, government leaders, and trailblazers every Wednesday at 10 a.m. only here on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube.
And we're back on Pairfect with the famous JJ Acuña.
My mom says I'm famous.
Yes, you are famous.
Well, she said that when I was born. So, yeah.
So how is it, or what is life like now that you're back here in Manila?
Yeah. So Hong Kong opened up in March 2023, and Philippines opened up March 2022.
Right.
So Philippines had a year head start. In fact, I would say Hong Kong was the last city to open in the world. So it's quite late, and it's now just
Getting back on
its feet.
Yeah.
But Philippines was like so happy to be out of lockdown, and they were just like everybody just wanted to revenge everything. Revenge eat out, revenge travel,
Shop.
meet up with friends, and I felt that vibrancy in the market, and everybody was kind of saving their money.
Yeah.
So
But you know, a lot of people were also fixing up their spaces during that time, right?
correct. So those people were either fixing up their space or thinking about fixing up their space, but because of lockdown, it was very like difficult to align with contractors and
Right,
stuff
right.
and designers. So after March 2022, go signal. Everybody had the go signal to do whatever.
Okay.
And it just so happened I was in that environment, and people realized that I did what I did, and I could do what I do for them. So it was quite positive. It felt very good
Very good.
to
So
be here.
you really focus on just restaurants, dining spaces.
Good question. So through hospitality, and we've designed, like in Macau, we designed a restaurant, Four Seasons, hotel in Macau. We really focus on the front of house experience, the customer touch. What do they see? What do they feel? What's the fabric that they're sitting on? So we're like, when people started going to our restaurants, they're like, oh, we want this at home. So we've had a couple people who've dined at our restaurants who are like amazing interesting people,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't hire residential designers because they wanted something that was not typical
Mm-hmm.
in a home. They
Yes.
really wanted a lifestyle experience in the home.
Okay.
So they come to a lifestyle designer to design residence. So now we do luxury residence or residence from a lifestyle perspective.
Okay.
So for those who travel the world or in COVID, I think people realized that they could host at home rather than go out to eat.
Yes.
People are now asking me to design bars for them at home
Yeah, I think that really changed the way people want their homes
to
to
be.
look at, to be.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's now built for
galing.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's so crazy, and now people want open kitchens. They want an
Yes.
open kitchen with a bar component.
Veranda,
People have espresso
garden.
machines
Yeah.
at home. So like your like bar counter at home is like, oh, you can have coffee
Yeah.
during the daytime and like work from home, Zoom,
Yeah.
and then at night, oh, our friend is coming over at 6 for vino
Yeah.
or champers.
Yeah. That really opened up a lot of possibilities for your work.
Yes.
Yeah, work.
And it made doing residential design fun for us because like we could do more interesting stones, we could do
Yeah.
interesting chairs.
Why do you think that's very? I mean, that's important for someone's dining experience. You know, just like people, I want to go out, I want to eat good food, but you're saying that the space matters. Why?
Okay, so you know this very well. Everybody who's eaten out knows this very well. When you go to a restaurant, whether it looks good or not, have you ever had to battle with interior design? Or like, for example, like, why is this table wobbly?
Yes.
That's what I mean by battling. Okay. Why is it so bright glaring on my face? Or,
Right.
oh my gosh, this food is so good. And then you take like a food photo like that and
Yeah.
everything's orange. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Okay.
So,
Got it.
or I'm trying, like you and I are sitting this close and you're telling me something. I'm like, what? What did he say? Acoustics. Sound is too,
Right.
aircon is too cold. That is battling with interior design in a practical sense. So for all our projects, really, I try to create projects that I know it's a successful project when you walk in and you're like, oh wow, the client really cared. They really did all of this. And then when the food comes, everything disappears. Like
Yeah.
no battling with anything regarding the space because the focus is on
now
the
the
food.
food. Yeah. Okay.
So that is how I do it, girl.
Yeah. That's I
That is
think
how we do it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think a lot of people think of it that way. So it's good that you're able to express the importance of,
Well,
why
I'm
the
the
space is a.
I'm the market.
You
You know,
are.
when I travel to different cities, I book in advance restaurants I want to book.
Oh.
Like I'm a foodie. I'm a total foodie. So I also study as I eat when I go out. I also write notes. I jot down inspiration and I look at what works, what doesn't work, because I'm the consumer, but I'm also the designer.
Designer. So have you noticed any new trends coming up?
Oh, in the Philippines, I've noticed that Filipino diners and restaurateurs want something original. They want something authentic. I think it's a millennial thing or a Gen Z thing. It's a social media sharing thing.
Yeah.
So a lot of restaurants just can't get away with just red bricks anymore. They can't get away with just industrial light. They can't get away with just concrete walls. I think for time being that is what was being offered the market.
Yeah.
But I think over time people want fabrics. People want
texture.
stone. They want texture. They want contrast. And they want a fantasy. They want to sit down and walk in and for 2 hours of their freaking life, they want to forget about real world.
Yeah.
And they are also investing their time, which is a luxury.
Yeah. And I think people want experience, be in the moment and
Be in the
yeah.
moment and
Right.
to just sit there and enjoy something else,
Yeah.
And so when you're asking them to come into your space, they're really investing 2 hours or 30 minutes. How do you say thanks back? It's just to do something in a space and to do something well is a form of gratitude, I believe, to the market.
Yeah. Okay. So you're a foodie, you said. What can you say about the Manila food scene?
I think, oh, we were talking about this earlier as
Yeah.
well. I was telling some friends that Manila now, I think, is Bangkok 10 to 12 years ago.
Okay.
I think that people really know now what to do with Filipino food in innovative and inventive
Yes.
ways. And are doing very interesting things with interior design to
Yeah.
reflect how to properly present Filipino food. And in terms of foreign food, I'm talking about Italian, French, Japanese. Well, it used to be in the old days, it's like you only get one kind of Japanese in the Philippines, you only get one kind of French, and then one kind of Italian.
Italian.
But now, like, there's American Italian, there's Italian, there's Italian from this region, there's Italian from that region,
Right.
Italian with natural wines. You know, how many pizzas do we have everywhere? You know, but everybody does things differently, and that's called regionalization and nichifying. Like they're creating a niche, which guess who wins? The market.
Right. Very
Right.
interesting. Diversity in the
Diversity. And so people need to let go of gatekeeping and allow people to really, what do you call it, innovate and invent cool new ways to do things. And I think there's more of that in the Philippines.
So do you think you'll be happy here after moving from Hong Kong?
Hey guys, my Hong Kong friends, I still live in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
I live in Hong Kong, but I also live in the Philippines. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, when I moved here, I was like, oh my gosh, if I go to the Philippines and set up the studio, does that mean I'm leaving Hong Kong? And my friends are like, no, it's 2023, it's 2024. Life is about expansion.
Right.
It's about expanding. If you can, why do you have to get something new in your life? Why do you have to let go of something old? Why can't you just hashtag sana all?
Yeah.
Why can't you have it all? And at the moment, I want it all. But you know, in the future, there may be a part of my life where I have to choose one. But right now, you know, we're able to really innovate in both cities.
Yeah, you
And
can. It's possible.
It's possible, and I have designers in both cities,
Yeah.
and they're doing very interesting things in both cities. So
So you're managing two.
I'm managing two
Office.
studios.
Okay, how big is your company right now?
Office in Hong Kong, there's 4 of us. In
Okay.
Manila, there's 3 of us. So we're boutique. So we pick and
Okay.
choose our projects.
Okay.
And then we also have, 4 architects who do all of our projects in addition for the technical work. And we have lighting team and we have FF&E team in addition to that. So we deliver projects swiftly and efficiently and high quality.
Of course. What would you say is your management style?
My management style is very millennial because I'm a millennial. I now, because of COVID, I allow my designers to work from home.
Okay.
Like we have a hybrid. So if I'm not here in town and my Filipino designers don't want to commute, they can work at home. We don't do overtime. We and we also have sick leave. I mean, we have like mental health leaves. So if you have a mental day, you can take leave. Like I don't
That's
really,
nice.
I don't really care about clocking in and clocking out. I more
Right.
care about getting the job done,
Output.
output, and job done on time. And when
Right.
they know that that is the exchange for more flexibility and work-life balance, they do it.
Nice. I think
Yes.
a lot of companies can learn from that.
Yes, you know what they say when you're in the shower? If you hold on to a bar of soap so tight, it slips out.
Yes.
That's how I have loyalty in our team. I don't do that. I trust them to do what they need to do to get the job done.
I like that. I'll work for you, John.
I'm taking in interns. Yeah. Join me. She's been here forever. I mean, they're gonna kill me.
JJ, our, we have to
Wrap up?
Yeah, it's so fun
Sayang.
talking with you. Yes. Well, before we go, would you like to say something to our viewers about design, about food, whatever, designing your life. I mean, for me, looking at you,
Yeah.
it's that story that I see because you
Yeah.
design for other people, but you, the person, there's so much of you to talk about. Actually, I could really
Yeah, go
continue this, but
on
yeah.
and
So,
on.
what would you like to say to
I
everyone?
think I would just like to say that, you know, trust your gut if you have to make a decision. Uh, get into a quiet space and then trust your gut and believe in your own voice to make decisions. So I do that when I need to figure out where a design is going, or how to pick a project, or how to de-stress from life. So I think some people call it prayer, some call it meditation. I think the most important thing is to sit with yourself, sit in silence, sit with your God, and really listen and listen to the voice inside of you to figure out how you want your life to be, because there are no rules. Always innovate and push the boundary in your own way that reflects you.
Yes, beautiful. I'm trying to imagine what your space would be like when you're trying to listen to your voice.
A lot of candles and a lot of
Ah,
incense.
okay. That's your wellness side.
Yes, my
Okay.
wellness side, indeed.
Okay, thank you, JJ. I
Thank you
wish I
so
could
much.
talk with you some more. Maybe you'll come back.
I hope so.
Okay.
Yes, I
Let's talk
love
about
being here.
Carlos. Yay!
Yeah, we'll talk more about different fun stuff.
Yes, your next
Yes.
projects maybe,
Yes,
and your
indeed.
fashion, your closet. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So we've just heard a lot of valuable and insightful information and views from interior designer JJ Acuña. It's been our pleasure having you on our show, and we wish you all the best in your undertakings. This has been a wonderful afternoon once again. This is Dinah Ventura. Thank you for watching.